Welcome to Bacon Pancast featuring Jake's Meatloaf. This is an Adventure Time podcast, and we are Jake's Meatloaf. I'm Tulip.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chan.
I'm Tipsy.
You may know us from our Owl House Reaction podcast hosted by Crowned Cryptid, or from the A-Timers podcast where we talked about distant lands, both of which are on different feeds, but we may be referencing back to them occasionally. Sorry if that's confusing. Blame me. It was my idea to do it this way. And before we begin, I'd like to mention that we are recording this during the Writers Guild and Screen Actors Guild strikes, among others. We support those striking, and we do not endorse any streaming services for any reason.
Yeah, we can't say the name, right?
Yeah, we shouldn't. I don't know. Whatever.
We have to make up like a pen name for it.
What?
I am so excited. My brain has been in turbo crazy mode for 24 hours or more now. How long has it been since it released at 3 a.m., right?
Yeah, so a little more than 24 hours.
My brain has been in such overdrive that I just remembered I dreamt that I was at a I don't know what it was, but I was with Rebecca Sugar for I guess a meet and greet. She was really nice, by the way. Shout out to Dream Rebecca Sugar. She was so nice. But I remember this. She was like, so how'd you like the episode 2, huh? I was like, your song was amazing. I was like, I watched the episode right at 3 a.m., which was a lie, and in the dream, I was like, holy fuck, I lied to Rebecca Sugar. Anyway, sorry.
Wait, did she do a song for it? I didn't know that.
Yes?
What?
She did. The song in the second episode.
She sang it.
Oh. I didn't notice that.
I'm sorry.
Honestly.
This is good. No, this is good. Nick is just helping us clarify.
I guess I should say that. I have been 100% out of the loop on this on purpose. I did not watch trailers. I don't really follow anybody anymore. So I really don't know anything about this.
I get that, but she also sang it.
I didn't notice. When's the last time I thought about Rebecca Sugar? Okay, Steven Universe has been over for
I think
4
about her every day.
You know what? I think we need to not gang up on Nick right now. We're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt here.
I have a job.
Okay.
Nick, the second one was written by Rebecca Sugar, but the first one in the first episode, sung by Marshall Lee, was written by
Pat McHale.
Patrick McHale and Somebody Xylophone.
I'm holding out hope before I get upset, but I'm like, there's gotta be a full version of that, right? They didn't just write a 10-second clip of a song that good. I'm begging you. Please.
This is Adventure Time.
I don't care! Please! Pat McHale.
There's probably more.
There's gotta be more, come on. Okay, well, anyway.
I'm actually really glad that I ended up having some time to myself, watching the episodes before we recorded, because, I was able to watch the episodes twice. And the second time through, I noticed a lot of parallels between these two episodes, which I would like to talk about.
Absolutely. Same.
Pop off, girl.
Okay, so it's not all exactly one-to-one, but it's enough that I am 100% certain it was intentional. Both of these episodes begin with a dream sequence of the main character's past, ? Obviously, it's a lot more literal for Simon. And during that flashback sequence, Simon mentions trained squirrels, which is weirdly similar to the thing at the end with LSP of the other episode. I don't know how that could be relevant at all, but that's one thing. Then obviously Simon's museum exhibit apartment that he's living in is very similar to the one Fiona has, and they're both turn on the TV and they're watching Cheers. And Simon explicitly mentions the ice compartment in a refrigerator, which is, the first piece of ice that Cake becomes obsessed with and seems to be acting weird about. Then a little later, Simon is in the Candy Tavern. That's the second time ice is mentioned. And in very close proximity, he also sees the, picture of Betty and starts thinking about Betty, which I think that's around the same time in the other episode that they're on the bus and they see the statue of Betty and Cake tries to escape to go to an ice rink.
I'm so curious if those time stamps match up, because that's so cool.
They don't 100% match up, I'm sure of that, because again things start to get a bit out of order later. here, but then Finn and Simon go to the heart of the forest, and Finn mentions that the Huntress Wizard had something to say about this place. Fiona is in the park, but she goes to, she has to crawl through a bunch of bushes and trees to get into a clearing in the center, and there meets human hunter wizard. And also during the forest sequence, both Finn and Fiona, there's like a white butterfly that flies nearby them, which has a spiritual connection to Finn, as we know.
Bear in mind, the white butterfly actually showed up in the credit sequence. I believe it was on top of the bear masks from Simon's World that was also in the credit sequence.
I didn't notice that. I don't know, take a look at that. I'm scrubbing through the episode right now to remind myself of all this stuff. And then when Simon is like walking back down the river, he sees like in the exact same order that Fiona encountered the same people like earlier in her episode. There's a leaf guy playing with fushigi balls, 3 banana guards who are literally having like the exact same conversation in both of these episodes, and then those 2 skaters.
Yeah. That was like, the skating things was the only one I noticed because it's the most clear. But I mean, the whole him like wallowing through the forest like that too,
right.
Like, that's clearly a parallel. But everything else you're saying.
And then this one I am not so sure about, but it seems like probably at the end Simon, doing his like spell, doing his ritual. At the end of the other episode of the first one, like there are a couple of moments with LSP where it puts some like gravity on what he's saying for some reason. Like Cake, from Cake's perspective, he kind of has that effect on him that like she was seeing on ice and stuff earlier. And then he at one point, Ellis was also like, "Open your mind," and it, got all serious just for that one line. And I was looking at the other one. That's not something that Simon or Evil Choose Goose or anything. No one says that, but like, come on, that's related. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, they do, the 2 timelines converge when Cake shows up, jumping out of Simon's head. So it seems like the Fiona and Cake world just like constantly exists inside Simon's head somehow, and the things that he experiences are directly affecting it in real time.
That's why it's so boring. That's why Fiona's life is so boring and normal. That represents Simon's life and his psyche at the moment. In a sense, he's trying to pursue this sort of normalcy, but he can't quite get it because so much has changed. And he's sort of in a world that doesn't belong to him anymore. Like, Ice King would get along just fine in the land of Ooh, but Simon Petrikov, there's no place for him. And that's reflected in how out of place Fiona feels in her own life. So, it's more clear than ever that Fiona's world depends entirely on Ice King's psyche. Makes me interested in some of the potentials seen in the future trailer. And it's also possible that Fiona's world used to be magic and full of adventure. But now it's been transformed in this way because Simon's been transformed. That's why she has no past, because she's always been a fictional character.
Yes, exactly. Well, like, the moment when she asks Gary, "How long have we known each other?" And he's like, I don't know.
Forever, I guess.
I have to say, if it wasn't clear, like, first of all, like, these episodes were so fucking good. I'm very happy about it. And I don't know, I came in, at least initially, like, when I heard about the series coming out, I was like, oh, my expectations are kind of low. Like, that will be fun, but, Finn and Jake are my boys. I'll be sad. And I'm just like, oh, what could have been? But I'm like, this is just like the continuation of the show. It's just, it's amazing. And also, like, being able to see Simon, and, like, it makes so much sense what he's going through, because it's like, you don't really think about it, but it's just like, yeah, now he's just a normal dude in this, like, crazy post-apocalyptic world, and Finn's like, oh, there's other humans, and he's like, yeah, weird future humans, and it's just like,
I know. Jumping back a little bit, obviously between Distant Lands and now, there have been other things that I have, been excited for and enjoyed. But when that first trailer came out for Fionna and Cake, I was just vibrating. I was like, I haven't felt this excited for anything in a long time.
It is indescribable. I feel the same way. It's like this part of myself just comes back to life. It's crazy, and this is the only thing that can do it.
That's how I felt too. But I waited for this episode. I was just seeing screenshots occasionally, but I was kind of just like, it's gonna come out so soon. Like, the trailer was only a month ago, so I was like, it's gonna come out so soon, I may as well just watch it. And I honestly was excited since the announcement, because they explicitly said it was going to be about Simon. So I was like, okay, I'm a Simon head. That's my side of Adventure Time that I adore. That's why my whole YouTube channel is Crown Cryptid and Snow and stuff. So I was so just automatically okay, we're getting a Simon miniseries. There's that initial oh, but it's Fionna and Cake because they need to make the show go on and they ran out of ideas or whatever. But the whole time I've been no, this is gonna be a Simon show, and there you go, it is. Especially if literally Fionna is fictional from Simon's head, which I completely understand that, but I didn't even think of that being explanation until you just explained that. And what it has me wishing is could you imagine if they advertised this as just a Fionna and Cake spinoff, and then the episode 2 intro played, and you're like, what the fuck?
That would that'd be insane, but also you get why they didn't, obviously.
Exactly. That would be horrible advertisement, but that would be an amazing boost. Or even if they just revealed the show with that intro scene instead of just a poster and some text, but it's all weird.
That would be some Hideo Kojima stuff nonsense.
Exactly, and that's what I just within the past few years, that's something I'm so obsessed with, because we all grew up with the fandom on Tumblr and stuff, and I just feel doing things like that is the next step to get people excited. So if they really hit us over the head with a surprise prior to the show coming out, rather than just being hey, we're making a Fionna and Cake spinoff, I guess, see you in 2 years. If they actually were hey, we're doing an Adventure Time stream, and you're oh, what's this going to be? And then they play that intro scene, we'd be pooping our pants more than we already are.
Yeah, but the thing is, they already announced Fionna and Cake well before it was anywhere close to ready. At the beginning of production, as soon as they decided to make it, they announced it. And that's because HBO Max wanted to keep the hype up, the momentum up from Distant Lands whilst they were working on the production.
Yeah. And, it's good enough that, somewhere out there people still care about Adventure Time enough for this to be, an advertising point for them. Also, I don't know, wait, do we have to censor... Tipsy said it, we have to censor that. Put a Gunter warrant on over that.
But did she say HBO Max? Because we can say that. That's not real anymore.
Oh, yeah, okay. I guess that's not...
I'm just so glad it survived the great apocalypse of unnamed streaming service.
Exactly.
And made it.
I was getting worried.
You know what's awesome though about this series in particular? Everything that has been every cartoon that's been released on streaming so far, especially She-Ra, all season, entire season at once. Kipo, entire season at once. All of these shows just get bombed, or Adventure Time. We haven't had a normal Adventure Time drop since 2016!
I was telling Tulip that. I was when was the last time we've had weekly episodes? This is a blessing. I cannot believe it.
Because it's not even just this being weekly episodes, because I think HBO Max has been doing this since Infinity Train 3 or 4. They treat a lot of their shows with this weekly schedule, and realistically it's a good idea because it keeps people subscribed. But Distant Lands, because of the nature of what that show was, we were just sitting on the edge of our seats every day, okay, is they gonna mention it today? They gonna mention it today? That whole thing with Together Again happened. We were so confused about that show's release.
HBO Max said fuck your gay peppermint.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I think if Distant Lands had been produced in a more effective way, if it had been produced faster rather than it having the slowest production process in the world, then they would have released the episodes much closer to BMO than what they did, which is they were between 4 and 6 months apart. They'd have released them. They'd have probably done weekly releases or monthly releases.
Yeah,
you know,
that's ridiculous. But you know, I mean, there's so many cogs in that machine. Like, who knows why it was done like that? Whatever.
Yeah. Together
But
Again was
like,
delayed because of BMO.
Yeah, and like for what it was, you know, because it was like special little movies, like it still works with the format, but like, you know, this is Fionna and Cake is a miniseries, so like they kind of have to do this sort of structure. But it's 30-minute episodes, which is new for the show.
That's what I was gonna say.
I know. It feels like so slow, so noticeably, but also in a good way.
Yeah, because you know, my thing has always been like Adventure Time can do anything in 11-minute episodes. So the fact that these episodes have been longer, they have actually felt longer. They're not like wasting time. They're like, it's really letting stuff set in. Because yeah, realistically, not much has happened like in the show, but like it's a lot happens within the episode. There's still a lot of different set pieces and scenes and stuff, and they still do that delicious Adventure Time thing of having the episode end like on a really jarring frame, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Like,
Okay, hear me out. This is the big risk with the series. These 2 episodes were setup episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So you set up Fiona's entire situation in her life, and then you set up Ice King's entire situation in his life. And that's why they're so strong. And that's why they work so well in a 30-minute format, the 26-minute format, because you have lots of space to hammer in just how they feel. But will we need that much space progressing forward? That's a question. Or is it going to end up having to do random crap to pad out the time? That's my concern. I want to see how the next 2 episodes feel and whether they maintain the quality of these 2.
Something that I was saying to Dom yesterday while we were rewatching that made me really happy about the 22-minute format is they were able to have like so many quiet moments, which they would have never. I mean, they've done it in the original series, obviously, but like 11 minutes is just so short that like they just kind of have to be like, okay, go, 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 go. But like, I don't know, like Finn around the fire with Simon, even like the funny pause between Finn was like, no one is supposed to be here. We counted, it was like, I think it was 7 or it was 5 seconds of pause before he was like, let's go. But like, there was a lot of quiet emotional moments that just were able to sit with just be a slow moment. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. This is so different.
And I can see what Tipsy means. Like we could get to a point where just kind of an episodic thing is happening and it ends up feeling drawn out. But I trust these writers a lot for it to not really get too bad. And I think just the nature of the story where this is it's very much like a mature character piece in a way Adventure Time hasn't done it this directly. Like, this is very like generic of me to say, but kind of anime adjacent with like it's focused on a character and emotion. And I think the longer format suits that really well too. Like, I think this is a story that deserves to have episode lengths like that. Whereas, you know, every live action show ever made now has like an hour and a half episode and then nothing happens. So like, you know, I trust that they know what they're doing, especially as it continues.
And just to put a comparison, the amount of footage we've seen so far of this special is longer than the Adventure Time finale, which makes sense. But it's also longer. It's about the same length as Wizard City, which is the length of the longest distant land special. So each 2 episodes is about the size of a Wizard City, and Wizard City in particular, I think, was the most effective. This is weird, but in rewatching them recently, I think Wizard City made the most effective use of its time. Like, it had the best pacing.
I can see that.
Yeah. So they're gonna have to do that 5 times.
That's got me excited. I can't wait for a Wizard City every week.
I know.
Wizard City every week. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with. So they can fit an entire Wizard City in each two-parter. So I want to see what they do with that much room, and if each episode is really, if each two parts is like a complete dense part, or if they're trying to stretch a Wizard City sized plot across 6 episodes. That would be the difference. That would be the thing that makes it bad, I think. But
I don't think it's going to be that. I mean, I think it probably is going to be episodic to an extent, because I mean, we know there's going to be like multiverse hopping or something. That was in the synopsis. So I imagine, you know, they'll be like, let's spend some time here and solve a problem here, but also learn something related to the overall plot is going to be the general way it goes.
And also, something that Adventure Time was really bad at, but Distant Lands was pretty good at, is endings. Like, the mini-series were front-heavy in Adventure Time. They just sort of ended, all 3 of them, apart from Islands, really. I think like the endings of all 3 miniseries are a bit lackluster compared to some of the episodes beforehand. Meanwhile, with Distant Lands, the beginning of the episode and the end of the episode is always the strongest part. So I wonder if they're gonna go. I wonder if they can finally perfect a balance, or if they're still going to have the issue of, well, we've made this incredible concept, but we're not really sure how to end the miniseries, so something's just going to happen. But Simon deserves better than that, so I'm holding out that they have a strong ending.
I just feel like there's so much attention to detail and so much love put into these so far that I'm like, they gotta do it. They gotta get it right. They're gonna do it. I'm just also, to jump really fast, I have to say this because we haven't mentioned it yet. They're just swearing now, and like, I do side eye like, oh, they swear now, but it's like, it's so natural and it's not shoehorned. Like Marceline being like, this guy's pissed off. I didn't even bat an eye. Like Fiona being like, God damn it. I was like, what?
Yeah, but Cake the Cat said, "Puck him up, girl."
I know. I had to pause and rewind and look at the caption because I thought she said "fuck him up." So good, but
I think that works so well. Like both because of very literal, like, you know, I was 11 when the show came out and now I am 24 sort of way, but also in a like I said, like, this is a meteor story. Like, this is about a depressed 50-year-old dude. Like, it makes sense for it's fine for there to be swears because no kid's gonna watch this to begin with. Like, let it be the way it should be. And, you know, I wonder if the conversation was like the crew being like, hey, can we swear, or if it was HBO being like, hey, you guys should make this more adult or something. Because it was a whole thing about how, like, Infinity Train got canceled because there's no teenager shows or whatever. So it's like, did they have to make this adult because they're like, we need to prove to them that this one will be an adult cartoon, like Clo and High adjacent, so that they care about it or something? Like, who really knows? But I think it fits with the tone they're going for.
Do you remember how bizarre HBO, like Cartoon Network and HBO strategy was? Like, 1 minute it's like, oh, we're going to focus on shows for preschoolers, and then Distant Lands happened, and Distant Lands had a child entry character in every episode, and then it was, oh, we're going to focus on shows for young adults, and then suddenly an Adventure Time young adult miniseries is announced. Like, they're just, Adam Mueller was probably forced to do one or the other. And I'm sure he has to put in a little bit of swearing, but like, at least the characters aren't just saying fuck all the time.
Yeah, and there's definitely a big thing too of like what happened on TV, like the Cartoon Network TV channel. Adult Swim starts at 5 p.m. now. Adult Swim takes up more time on air than Cartoon Network, and that's definitely a literal, like, they see that as important.
Yeah,
business-wise.
but like, it's not like they're showing actual adult stuff that early. They're using the Adult Swim time slot to show like classic CN shows and stuff, right? They're putting Johnny Bravo on Adult Swim.
Yes, that's still a deliberate attempt to get people like in our demographic to watch the channel. So it's still an attempt for our demographic. Like, it's still aimed at us. And that's why I feel like it makes sense for this miniseries.
It is a huge shift. 8 p.m. used to be the time slot for new Adventure Time and regular show episodes and stuff.
Yeah.
Are people having less kids or something? Or all the kids
Kids
just,
don't watch
stuck
TV
on
anymore.
YouTube? Yeah, the kids are on their tablets watching Cocomelon.
And now, I don't want to be the one to say it, but the people having kids back in the day were supposed to be our age. So, like, realistically, we're supposed to be showing our kids this new Adult Swim block. But,
Oh my god.
but we're not there. So, but that's what they're aiming for. That's why they're doing that kind of direction. And it makes sense, too, because if they're showing reruns of kids' shows, then if a kid is accidentally watching TV during the day, they're not just going to turn on Rick and Morty and be traumatized. Although, I mean, kids are watching Rick and Morty anyway.
They're not allowed to show adult shows until 7 p.m. anyway.
Yeah.
I might be the enemy of this natural conversation, but should we go by episode by episode chronologically and talk
No,
about
who
it?
cares?
All right, just asking.
I did that already. I did a summary.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Okay, well, the first one, I love the visuals of these episodes. They're it took me a while to warm up to how Distant Lands look compared to regular Adventure Time, but now I can see that the art quality is legitimately improved.
Oh my god, the
so long
animation.
as they're able to do the crazy animated stuff that they've always done.
It's so good.
I love the title cards.
Steve Wolfhard designed the Fionna and Cake title, though I don't know about the Fiona Mertens title card.
The Simon Petrikov one looks so cool.
The Simon intro. It's also oh my god, the music is ridiculous. I'm just this is so. As when I was first watching it, I'm always super nervous because I'm emotions and I'm seeing all this stuff, and then they're flashing adult Finn and then their treehouse, and I'm oh my god, and the music, I'm just I'm gonna have an anxiety attack right now.
The moment that real Cheers showed up, that I was just all right, I'm in. They know what's going on.
Also,
Yeah.
what an artistic achievement to have so many characters abstracted twice, but still be very recognizable, to be gender swapped and humanized.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Fern was in the episode.
I know.
Did you?
She was, and what I find interesting is that Fern in the credits, she's credited as Fern, which I guess is just yeah, they never came up with a name for her in the show, so she's just Fern even when she's gender swapped.
Yeah.
Okay, but Marshall Lee, what the fuck? I was your voice. I know Donald is back, but I cannot. It's insane. I could listen to him talk forever. It was so good.
Who voices Gary? Because that's neither of his former voice actors.
No, it's someone new.
It's funny every time we see Gumball, it's someone new. I like the new guy, but I'm just are you gonna be replaced too, bro?
He sounds completely different though. The inflection of his voice is 100% a different
And
character.
I was trying to think if his voice matches PB a bit more than kind of the
No.
heartthrobby voice he used to have. I was trying to think that way. Did you just say no to me?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay.
Gets destroyed. Did you just say no to me? I liked it. I thought it was fitting. I thought it was cute. I think maybe they were just instead of trying to replicate the old stuff, they're let's just get a guy that we think sounds like how this character should sound and let them do their thing.
Oh yeah, I pogged when Butterscotch Scottish Butler appeared. I love her.
Yes. And she has the same voice actress.
I didn't know who I just, again, brain in overdrive these entire episodes, so some really obvious things just go over my head, but I was who's that supposed to be? And Dom had to tell me. And then once she did, it was really obvious, but oh yeah, Dom made fun of me because I thought I was smart, but apparently this is super obvious. I was oh, the reason Cake goes for the ice is because the ice is the representation of the magic within Simon Petrikov, and the ice is the thing that brings you to the magic. And Dom's yeah, that was pretty blatant. I was fuck you! I thought I was smart, but apparently that's really obvious.
I mean, honestly, I was so hooked on the dimension hopping idea that that world being of Simon deliberate thing wasn't really registering to me at all. I was just oh, that's I mean, it was all surreal, so I was just trying to be like, what? Why? There's like a Betty statue. Is this like a world where Betty was more important or something? Like, there's so many different
Yeah,
ideas.
I didn't realize it till my second watch too. But then like Cake literally comes out of Simon's head to get into their world, and I was like, oh, this was obvious. Oh no.
But I think my discussion for the first episode, because I got a bone to pick with somebody, and his name's my brother.
Ooh.
He said that the first episode was boring and he wasn't into it. And I can get that because it has like soft tones. But for me, as like a diehard person for the show, that episode was great almost just because of the cameos. And I was just like, it just had that usual surreal Adventure Time vibe of like, what is happening?
It's so riveting just because of how different it is.
Yeah, I was like, what's happening here?
Also, it's so funny. Are you kidding me? It's so funny. I don't like your brother, Nick. I don't like him.
I'm starting to not like him either.
Can we 1v1 somewhere, maybe?
I'll get him to play RuneScape. I'm sure he'd love that game.
Okay, perfect. How old is he?
19.
Alright, I can beat him.
The first episode is so Adventure Time though, like in that sense of here's some characters just living their weird life.
And it's weird because it's normal, and we've literally never seen normal in Adventure Time before.
Yeah, like maybe your brother is too young to like relate to it as much or something.
That's what I think, because I didn't go off on him about like the moral shit that I derived from this, so I definitely believe that too. Like,
it's just like I at least think I can like I was telling one of my friends, I was like, I'm a diehard fan and I eat up all this stuff, but I also think like the show is so good that like even if I didn't watch the show, I would be like, this is great, and that made me happy. Like it's just really good. So like hearing that, I'm like, I'm angry. Like no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't. We can get into that. That's like my biggest note here is about like the tone and like the thematic thing that's going on here. This like. At least, how I just felt the way, this is just what I felt watching them once. I've only watched them once, but like immediately after I stopped watching them, I was like, wow, like, did they make this specifically for my emotional state right now?
That's what I say every time they release anything. How do they do it? I mean, I guess we're maybe projecting, but like, I don't know, not really.
But it's so well crafted that it's easy to project, whether or not it's the intention. But my thing with this is that, like, this is very literally a story about, like, losing magic and, like, losing, like, optimism and hope and, like, not just being bored. Not, like, being depressed, but just being, like, you don't know what the hell to do anymore. And that's how I felt, like, for a long time. But it has, like, it strikes a chord even more now. I don't really know what happened to me to make me very emotional this whole little while. But there's just kind of... like my connection is just that thought of like back in the day when Adventure Time, regular show, Gravity Falls, all those things were coming out at once, and I was just filled with such an intense like, oh, I love animation. Like I'm gonna be an animator. I'm gonna like make a web comic. I'm gonna like do any of these things inspired by these shows, and I'll like be the next show. And then I grew up and I was like, what the hell? I live in the fucking Northeast. I have like a normal human amount of money, which isn't enough to go to California. I have social anxiety. I have all these things, and it all just compounded to me being like, I guess I just won't achieve my dreams. Never mind. And now I'm just kind of living, and I'm like content. But I'm like, oh, I guess all the stuff I used to care about really didn't end up mattering. So, that like immediately after the show came off, I was just like pleasantly teared up because I was just like. The way I just read this was like so raw to me. I was like, "This is Simon Petrikov is me. He just like me for real." Like,
dude, I like I said, I feel all of that so hard. Like and like internally too. Like we were talking about, like when you watch these episodes, it all comes back to you. But like for me, it was like I started watching and like that passion just comes back so intensely, and I get so excited. I see all my old friends, and I remember how I was all excited like every week for the next episode and being like, I'm so inspired by this thing, I'm so passionate by this thing, and then you feel this like unadulterated like love again that like you kind of maybe at least for me, I feel like I lost along the way, and it's such a gift to be able to experience that again, honestly.
Yeah, and we just need to learn how to keep latching on to it even when these things are gone. And like like, so much has come out and so much has happened in all of our lives, I'm sure, since Adventure Time ended and since, like, COVID and all this confusing bullshit that's been happening. But I really feel like nothing has, like, enthralled me the way that these 2 episodes just enthralled me.
Never.
Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe, like, Into the Spider-Verse did. I don't know. But even, like, Distant Lands, like, those were exciting. There were, like, bits and pieces of moments where I was like, oh, Adventure Time. But, like, because the release schedule, I think, and because of, like, I don't, you know, I don't know anything. I don't really care about Peppermint Butler, you know, stuff like that. It didn't, like, do much, but now I'm like, there's a Simon Petrikov miniseries right now. If I could go back in time and tell my 14-year-old self that this was a thing that was going to happen, it'd be amazing. But also, if my 14-year-old self was watching this, he wouldn't feel the same way that my 24-year-old self feels about it.
That's right. So we did a great Adventure Time rewatch recently, and we were watching 4 to 6 episodes a week, right? So a really slow rewatch over the course of 8 months. And we finished it recently. And I notice every time I rewatch this show, I feel differently about it. I like different things. I don't care for things that I used to care about, and I suddenly care for things that I used to overlook. And Adventure Time is ageless in that sense, that you can always get something new from it every time you watch it. And like this Fionna and Cake series, I would not have liked it when it came out. If it came out in 2020 or 2016, I would not have liked it at all. But now I'm 27 and like have no direction in my life.
So true.
I've given up on all
Don't
of my
worry,
hopes and
we're all
dreams.
getting royalties from this podcast. Don't worry,
No,
we're all going to be famous because of this.
we're not. No, we're not.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll make lots of money from this unsponsored, unadvertised podcast. Like, why would... So,
I wrote a 7-second intro.
I'm
Anyway.
sure it's going to be our big break, but that's the thing. Like, I have no hopes and ambitions, so I'm like Fiona and Simon in that sense, and I don't like that at all.
I hate it.
But it's just real, you know? Because it's just like, it's not like, at least, you know, I don't know, I guess I can't put words in everybody's mouth, but like, it's not like I've like given up. I'm just like kind of here. It's just like this realization of like, oh, okay, like I'm an adult now and I grew up with the internet, so like I'm just doing my thing now, and like that's it. It's not like I'm doing everything that I thought I would as a kid. Now I'm just like, I'm doing none of that, but like I'm still okay, I guess. And it's just like boring, you know? But it's like, what are you gonna do?
Actually, I'm not going to trauma dump on this podcast, but like a bridged version, like I related to it in kind of a different way because like I've been feeling pretty okay semi recently, which is good. I'm happy. I've been doing a lot of work on it, but like specifically Rebecca Sugar's song, you know, the one when Simon was walking, the lines like, now that I'm not part of that sadness, like I don't know the lyrics, I'm sorry, by heart, but like essentially being like, for me, what I related to is like, okay, like I was sad and unmotivated for so long. Now that things are different, I'm like, I don't really know what to do with myself. Like, I'm happy that I'm feeling better, but like, are people still gonna see me the same way? Am I still gonna be the same? And all this stuff. And I'm like, so that's where I heavily related to it. Obviously, on top of all the things you guys said, but I think that's a really cool thing they're exploring.
Yeah, let's hope like one...
And they swear!
Let's hope like one crew member watches this and then they're like, oh, they're just like, oh, I didn't realize we like wrote something that meant that. Like,
isn't
okay,
that
sure.
Isn't that like always what creative people go through though? Like, they're just like someone's like, oh, I love that you did this here. And just like, yeah, I did that on purpose for sure,
Yeah.
bro.
No, but come on, like they must have been thinking about that a little bit. I mean, this miniseries is the epitome of Adventure Time growing up with its fans, which has always been like one of the things I loved about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of just considering this like the next season of the show. Like, I think that's what's different about Distant Lands compared to this. It's like,
because I mean, think on a very literal like business level again too. Like, would they have given Simon Petrikov a show in 2013? Like, would that really be a pitchable thing back then? Like, they literally didn't let the creator of Uncle Grandpa make Uncle Grandpa because they're like, that's too adult. We make a show about monsters instead. Like, I don't think they would have been thinking this level of... They wouldn't fund something like this until now, I feel like.
Adventure Time made it this way.
Exactly.
Adventure Time carved out the route that's necessary for Adventure Time to exist.
Yeah.
We are blessed. We're eating so good. Also, we're just gonna jump wherever we want. They brought Evil Choose Goose back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck.
I was about to say that too.
I love
that
it.
blew my mind.
Because it's like, the end of Wizard City, I was like, okay, there's a cliffhanger, but when the fuck are they gonna use that?
He's dead.
That's the thing. Do you think that this is how he dies, and that's why he's dead in Together Again?
80% chance, yes.
I thought he just got fried.
I don't think so. Because in Together Again, I got the vibe that he had died recently, and it's not like I think he's going to survive a while longer.
When I watched...
But that would be really funny.
When I watched it the first time, I thought Simon killed him with the Golb, ritual, because he was all fried and he had, X eyes, but he was going, oh! So, maybe not, but, I thought he just died there.
I also think it's very funny that in the credits, Choose Goose is credited as Evil Choose Goose.
Yeah.
That's a different person.
Someone posted a screenshot, so, when Evil Choose Goose starts, muttering under the rug, it subtitles him as Evil Choose Goose even before it's revealed that it's Evil Choose Goose.
Boo.
Yeah, that sucks.
See, I'm basically the smartest person in the world, and I knew who it was immediately. Did anyone else
Really?
actually think it was him before the curtain moved?
No, I didn't.
No, until once the curtain moved though, I immediately made the Wizard City connection, and I was that was my moment of it where I didn't pause, but that if any moment in this was gonna make me pause to react, it would have been that, because I was just no fucking way they continued that. That was not even a thought in my brain for a second for the whole episode or the miniseries announcement or anything. I thought that was just a weird dead end plot. I completely forgot about it until he showed up. Then I was like, no fucking way, it's the fucking connection.
I don't remember if he made a noise or something, but there was some point before they revealed it that I was like, that's Evil Choose Goose. So
it shows his arms. I guess that maybe that's a bit clearer too.
Yeah.
No, I mean I recognized his voice. I think he said a sentence before they took the sheet off, but
Can we talk about while we're in this scene? First of all, it was so fucking... I thought it was literally genius the way they opened Simon's episode, where I was like, oh, is he in Fiona's world too? In this boring apartment? Is this an alternate Simon? And then it's just the 20th century museum.
Yeah. See, I thought it might be another flashback. Maybe they're going to show how he met Betty when he was young or something. But he has the white hair, and so I was like, what is happening?
I was like, oh, did he already dimension hop, and that's why weird stuff was going on with Fionna and Cake, or it's a great weird. And then the explanation they go with is the most random fucking thing
it's so
ever.
Good.
That, you would have never
it's
thought
so
of.
good and so funny, and also
it's wicked funny.
There was so many good jokes. He's leave, and he goes in the bathroom, and then they're like, what's that room for? And also the phone's why isn't that one a phone? Oh my god, it's the whole thing. I actually obviously, I guess duh, but I felt so bad. Even the little girl was annoying, but I felt so bad for her. She was like, can you sign my book? And then he just throws it away. I'm picturing me bringing John DiMaggio can you sign my album? And he just chucks it in front of me. Meeting your heroes. That poor little girl is traumatized. But
yeah, and I mean that's a whole other kind of plot element too, or thematic element of him trying to ignore that past, but also it being what everybody knows.
Yeah, he's I don't want to talk about my old stuff. Oh, I have to say this before I forget. Obviously, you guys know this, but Tom Kenny is so fucking good at voice acting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I could not his just performance in this whole thing, the subtleties in his tone and everything else.
I remember when Simon and Marcy first came out. The way he voice acted in that, I was literally taken back. I was like, is this even still him? I've never heard him have this kind of afflection before. Back fucking 12 years ago or whatever when that came out.
I agree, but there's something about this series in particular that I think I noticed even more, that I was just I don't know. And just when he put the ice in the thing and he's like, no ice, and I'm a little bit of Ice King came out, but he's also trying to be respectful of the guy, but also having it. And I'm I can just tell all these emotions are happening. Just oh god, it's so good. Also, you talked about having to pause the episode when Finn's arm came in. I was like, I'm pausing. I can't. I was
Oh yeah, that's Chan bait.
Did you know that he was already going to be
I
in
knew
this, though?
he
'Cause,
was
like,
in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's on the poster. He's on... I wish I didn't know. But
I know.
I mean, he's literally on the poster, so it's just kind of a thing. I didn't expect him to be voiced by Jeremy, though.
I was so happy
kinda...
it wasn't some random adult dude. I don't know. I was happy.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, but I was like, I don't know, he'll be voiced by, like, the Pahoy one. But in Obsidian, he was voiced by Jeremy, too, right? So, like, that I kind of just forgot about that.
In Obsidian, like, he was... I was like, okay, he's young enough that it makes sense that Jeremy's still voicing, but then, like, when he's, like, old and buff, I'm like, oh, maybe they'll use, like, a deep, adult man voice, but it kind of felt like the voice director was like, Jeremy, just talk in your normal voice now, or something.
Yeah, it's what the fans want.
I don't know. To me, it kind of sounds like he's doing a voice a little bit. I mean,
he's doing a little bit of a voice.
I don't know what his normal speaking voice sounds like, but I'm pretty sure his normal speaking voice at this point is just what Finn sounds like at the end of the show.
Finn always has, like, a little bit of, like, a spring in his step when he's talking. So, like, I could hear that. But, like, also, again, shout out to Dom and her genius brother. She watched it with her brother, and she told me all the things they caught, and I was like, oh my god! So now I get to be the one who gets credit. But she was like, yeah, Finn wears his shirt, like, with the chest always out now because of the tattoo. And I was like, holy fuck! I can't. I hate it. I just, like, all the...
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Finn is here, and Jake is not.
Ah! And, like, because of Together Again, we just know he never gets peace ever in his life. What the fuck? Like...
That is messed
I don't
up.
know. It's not like he's unhappy. It's just some small part of him that always misses his brother is the thing. Like anyone would feel that.
This is the missing link, though.
But just, like, the whole thing with Simon, like, he was very clearly also talking about himself, like, keep distracted and all this stuff, don't let you think about sad stuff, all this, and I'm like, come on, stop it. And also...
Okay, you got a point there.
He's with TV, and I'm like, oh my god, he's taking care of Jake's family after he's
Oh,
gone.
it's so funny that he's like, come on, TV, we're going on a quest. And TV was like, yeah, okay. And then he doesn't
never
show up
shows
again.
up. Maybe, like...
I didn't even realize that.
I'm just picturing, like, Jake on his deathbed telling Finn, like, please keep an eye on my family, and then Finn being like, this is my mission in life now, and I'm like, I hate everything about this.
Do you think Jake's the kind of guy to be like, to pull a prank as he was dying, like, Finn, don't forget about the... And then he dies.
Yes!
And Finn just has to worry about it forever.
Yes!
Dude, that is such an Adventure Time joke, to be honest.
That literally happened. There was Billy's bucket list, and the bucket list said, tell Finn about that one thing.
Yeah.
And Finn's like, that's going to haunt me forever.
I love the casualness of that line so much.
But the thing with Finn that I like too is the impression I got is just that, like, maybe he's distracting himself from Jake and all that, but I think just very literally too, he just didn't know how to deal with Simon, because I think he recognizes that Simon's problem is something so out there that he's just like, I don't know, just don't be sad, because I literally, like, I could not comprehend what your issue is. Like, maybe he kind of had the issue with being the only human back in the day, but I think he's so over that now. So he's just like, I'm not going to try to remember trauma to help this guy.
I think he's just doing what he knows how to do. Like, that's what he does to not feel sad. So he's just like, yeah, this is what works. Universally for everyone. Just go on a quest. Okay, I have to mention this because, again, we haven't mentioned it. There's blood.
There's blood.
When I saw the blood, I was like, am I having, like, a stroke right now? Like, Finn, the first time we see it is, like, Finn brings that giant steak on that fish, and I was like, hello? Is that ketchup? What?
Yeah.
And then, like, Simon getting the cut, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Simon's cut was gruesome.
I love the, like, joke beat where Finn, like, gets out his blindfold, and it seems for a second like he's going to use it to wrap up the cut on Simon's arm, and then he just uses it as a blindfold.
Dude, the Hall of Egress callback, though, for sure. Yes. Like,
I know. He has so much experience doing that.
I love that so much, and also, I was convinced that the bear was Huntress Wizard when I first watched it, because I was like, oh, this bear's acting kind of weird, and then Simon screams, and Finn is smiling, and he goes, Simon! And I was like, he doesn't even care. I was like, oh, it's Huntress Wizard, and she's gonna, like, fake die so Simon gets brave, but it was just a fucking bear that Finn then broke the neck of. It's just ridiculous. And, oh my god, they were so vague about it, and it's like, I'm not even mad, but also I'm mad. He was like, I'm gonna go hang out with Huntress Wizard or something, and I was like, are they dating? Hello?
We don't know. We'll never know that.
Everyone
We'll never
is
know.
screaming about that right now. They're like, we won, and I'm like, dudes, why was it ever important? Why is it important if they're fucking or not? Okay.
Yeah, like, I was just happy to hear that they were still friends, in like at the very least. I don't like they were vague about it.
Yeah, it's ambiguous. They're still friends, which is nice.
Why do you think that they've purposely been so ambiguous about that? Like, do you think that they just don't want to confirm a love interest for Finn?
I
Do you think
mean,
it's
yeah,
important?
just because it's like not the most important thing about Finn's story.
I agree, but like it seems like something they could just have like a little thing, like, oh, this is what he's doing. But it seems like it's like very important to them that he stays like kind of single. And
Well, it's important to them that it stays ambiguous.
Right, but like I'm just wondering the main reason.
It's important. The main reason is because it's important to them that we as an audience understand that Finn has grown past that point where he put his entire identity based on his love interest. So if he goes running around with the love interest like any other random cartoon, then not only is that like sexist, like heterosexist in a way, like oh, everyone needs a love interest by the end of the show. Fuck off. It's also, like, undermines aspects of the show itself. That's what I strongly believe they've decided. And if you look at how people on the internet act about it, and they're like, "Rah, Finn's life is ruined, he didn't get a love interest." Or they're, like, obsessed with Huntress Wizard just because she's Finn's love interest. That makes me feel ultra determined that Finn should never be shown with a confirmed love interest.
That's what I was gonna say. I love it. I didn't mean, like, I don't know if I implied that I was like upset about it, because I really love it, and I think it's like
Right.
it serves the character well, and it's a unique thing.
I mean, because the point of it is like, if at any point they showed Finn as an adult in a romantic relationship, people would be like, "All right, that's it. He got his happy ending." When like that's not the point. You know, what they're trying to communicate is like, Finn is just gonna keep going on with his life, and he might be dating someone or not.
And his brother is literally dead, and he's still going on. Like, you know, that's the whole thing. But Tipsy, I think your point there was really good. That like, it's kind of it's like a very heteronormative, like, story thing, because you know, as it's definitely ruined my life to an extent because I feel fucking lonely every day of my life. But I think too, I never really thought of it in that way. That like, they're just kind of doing it on purpose because they want it to be another, like, yet another sort of Adventure Time, like, subversive thing that's also, like, intentionally meaningful. But no matter what, there's going to be ship, you know, obsessed people. I don't think it's right to, like, be annoyed by that at all. Like, that's just how it is.
I just love that the end, like the quote-unquote end of the story isn't like, okay, the end game is you get your lover and that's it. It's like, I love that it's just like that's not what he needs and that's not what he really wants, and he's just happy, and I'm like, that's great. Yeah. I'm so happy about that. It's like so many shows are like the conclusion is they get the girl. Like, whoa, that's crazy.
And like maybe that's how Adventure Time would have gone, like, you know, season 1 style, but it just evolved so much, and like so many people got involved. And, you know,
it is how Adventure Time went, because if you remember...
Yeah, because, I mean, it was very literally just, like, Penn's, like, little D&D goofy fantasy thing. Like, it's everybody who joined in that turned it into this, like, massive, sprawling, world-built storyline thing. And
yeah, but the original ending of Adventure Time was going to be season 2, where PB gets turned into a 13-year-old just so that Finn can have a happy ending. That's what Penn Ward said.
Oh, I didn't know that, and I want to throw up. Also, like, remember when they implied Bubblegum was actually jealous of Flame Princess at the end of Burning Low? I still hate that to this day.
I am
don't get Tipsy started about
that. I don't want to talk about Burning Low.
Alright, anyway.
Because that was, like, my most legendary angry episode, so carry on.
Alright.
Well, one last thing about Finn. Finn's ending, like, realistically, is that he fucking dies and reincarnates. Like, that's his ending. Like, there's no, like, there's yet to be, like, an actual ending to, like, a sort of a storyline with him or whatever, and, like, they don't want to do that. I mean, we get a glimpse of it in the intro of this show, and it has me very excited to see if it even plays into it. But they definitely, like, they're fucking so in love with that future ooh stuff. I hope that becomes another show after this, if anything, or it gets featured.
They said it might be. Adam Muja said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I've talked to people about this, and I think Jagum or Kim, someone really does not want Future U to become like its own show. They enjoy probably Jagum. He enjoys the ambiguousness of it all. Like we don't need to see into that future world because that's not the point. We don't need every single
Yeah,
bookend
and it
to
makes
be
it,
unfolded.
I definitely can understand that from a story point too. But you see how much the board artists just like casually, or like Steve Wolfhard and stuff, they're just posting like some concept they made up for that future. Like I think they just love it, and if they're given the opportunity, they would take it because they just want to keep working on it, would want to show it. And I think too, in that regard, they'd probably take a direction where like, at least for the first portion of it or something, like to make it all kind of vague connections, like this first Fionna and Cake episode was, where just like the viewer just has to be like, is that like a future Banana Guard type thing? Like I think they would do good with it if it ends up being a thing that they have the opportunity to do. We don't really know, but they did apparently at some point vaguely say that there might be more after Fionna and Cake, but who Lord knows, we're only on the first 2 episodes of this to begin with.
I was so happy to see like Fionna and Cake and Adventure Time trending with like 30,000 tweets yesterday. I was like, I am literally alive right now. Also, random topic jump, but I'm trying to keep my expectations in check because like this is Simon and Fionna and Cake story, but I'm like, oh my god, like I want Finn so badly to like talk to Simon about like, because like I don't know, I want Simon to be real sad and Finn to be like, you know what, I'm going to talk about losing Jake and relate to Simon in that way, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm like,
I don't think it's going to happen.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm not under the delusion it will happen, but I'm like, please, I'm begging you. I just...
I thought that was quite clever though, because they showed Finn's state of mind and they showed the ways in which he is happy, but also the ways in which he is unhappy. But they didn't dive into it to the extent that it overshadowed Simon.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think the thing I just said that I was like, wish would happen, like undermines all of that and it would be bad writing. But still, I for some reason just said I wish it would happen. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I get it. You wish that there's a place for it in the series. There probably isn't one.
Listen.
But it would be cool if there was.
I will eternally be upset that we never got Finn and Jake Young flashback. I just wanted... I wanted that moment where like... Jake was a crime lord, Finn was his brother, and then I wanted that moment where Jake gave up his life of crime because Finn probably got hurt or something, and he's like, oh no. Then they lost their parents, there's so much, and I wanted it. Never got it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It would be awesome if they made a Jake miniseries. I'm going to say it right now.
That's a pretty good idea.
Jake is legitimately like one of the most interesting... The older you grow, the more interesting Jake becomes. It's so weird. Like on my recent rewatch, I was easily the most invested in Jake specifically, which is really weird for me. But like, he's just such a funny character, and I think they could just make like anything with him, and it would work out.
He was so good for merch because they're like, bro, we need more Adventure Time merch. They're like, dude, color like a sock yellow and put his face on it. Color
exactly.
Like a spoon yellow and put his... And then me, I'm like, oh my god, I need that spoon. But, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, back to real things. I was going to go on a tangent about...
Speaking of growing older, I want to talk about math for a second. During Fiona's bus tour, she said that the Betty statue in the park was built 12 years ago. I think that's a pretty good indicator of, like, how long Simon has been himself, basically. So, like, probably the finale happened 12 years ago.
Yeah, I also took it that way, kind of.
Which would make Finn and Fiona 29 years old in this special.
That makes sense, because that's the timing that Adam Muto gave.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, realistically, Finn looks like a 29-year-old? I could see it.
It also means that if, like I suspect, the Fionna and Cake world constantly exists in Simon's head and, like, is responding to things in his life actively, then, like, Fionna and everyone, all the humans in there, have, like, been living that boring life for 12 entire years, which is kind of wild.
Does that mean me making a fake Jake miniseries just made, like, a Jake world in my brain and now they're living? Oh no, what have I done?
Maybe, but also maybe there's some kind of magic thing involved. They still might explore the beamed into your head idea from Fionna and Cake and Fiona.
Yeah.
Simon's got to be in his like mid-50s then, because I'm pretty sure that like he was reverted back to the age that he was when he put the crown on, which was younger than how old he was when he was with Marceline in Simon and Martha. So he's got to be like 57 or something, right?
Oh yeah.
Also, if it's been 12 years, that probably means the little girl who's a fan of Fionna and Cake was, like, not alive at the same time Ice King was.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Also, Dom pointed this out. Again, shoutouts to Dom for pointing everything out, because I was just sitting there like, look, it's Finn. Finn say bad word. But, like, during the walk, the walk and song with Simon, I don't know if this was obvious to everyone, but I'm just dumb, apparently. But he, like, looks at this two characters, and one, like, gets a fruit for the other one and feeds it to them, and then I'm like, oh my god, it's Simon and Marcy parallel. Then he immediately calls Marceline. I'm like, oh my god, it's so cute. And speaking of that, that's the scene with the matching tattoos, which was the best scene I've ever seen in my life.
I just saw on Twitter that specific scene of the getting the fruit was literally a shot from like a previous Simon and Marcy episode too. Like Marceline looked at two people doing a similar thing in Steaks, I guess, probably.
What?
I'll share it. Hang on.
Also, another parallel thing is that, like, Simon had a little statue in his room that he put, like, little Betty glasses on, which is, like, probably why there's actually a statue in the park in Fiona's world. Also, more math. At the beginning of the first episode, Fionna said she's been having those dreams about Ice Prince for the last 3 days. And she also said, Cake, you haven't eaten anything in, like, 3 days. You must be hungry. What do you think happened to Simon 3 days ago?
Do you think that the world was created 3 days ago? Like, straight up? Like,
maybe, yes, but...
Because it could... The implication could be he started getting really, really sad and wished there was more magic 3 days ago, and that's when that world was created.
It could be.
I think that's correct. I think Fionna has only false memories of Cake being normal. Either that, or Simon's depression has only started really kicking in a couple of days ago. Like, he's having a shit week, basically. Also, I need to point out that, I don't think we've mentioned this yet, Fiona's job is the same as Simon's job, effectively.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that makes... I didn't think about that.
Yeah, they have the same job.
Good point, I get it.
That's why Fionna has that job, because that's what Simon's mindset is. Also, why does he have... Why is he living like that? What the fuck? Like, Simon...
He needs money, I don't know.
Surely there are better ways you can get money. You're incredibly smart, and you have lots of connections. If you just, like, actually talk... I know that there was... That scene with Marcy was absolutely heartbreaking, because it shows that there's been a big divide between Marcy and Simon over the recent years. Like, he doesn't feel like he can talk to her about his trauma, because it'll bring her down.
Oh, I know, and she was so happy, and he just kind of hangs up, because he's like, I don't want to... Oh, I hate it.
It's heartbreaking because sometimes life is like that. You try to connect with your family or people that you used to have good connections with, but like they're flying high and you're not, and you just feel like you're living completely different lives. And that's what I get from Simon there. He just can't relate to Marceline anymore.
I hate that you're right.
I also love to see them have a conversation about that, and that's something else that I kind of don't know if they're going to have time for. But they also might. They kind of set it up that it should happen. I don't know.
It's very Steven Universe future. But like the difference is the role reversal. Simon is Marceline's parent, not her son. So it's a bit less weird.
Did anyone else think it was weird that Simon's museum exhibit was called like 20th Century Man? Because back in, I think it was like in Betty, the episode, but he asked, like, what year is it? And Finn said, we don't keep time like that anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But that's because Finn doesn't keep time like that.
But the humans might have continued to keep time like that, I guess.
I mean, also, like, it's just...
a human city.
They probably don't even care about the name. They're like, whoa, that sounds weird. Let's go look at that. Like, maybe they don't even know what that means.
Yeah, because if anything, Simon just named it himself, too. Like,
true.
But see, that's the kind of lore question only one of us would ask. Like,
yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think of like obvious things that I was like, oh my god, I have to mention this that I'm just missing now.
Do you think there's any significance to the fact that apparently gender-swapped Hunson Abadir is Fiona's landlord?
Yes.
Because
I
landlords
was
are
going to
demons.
point something out. So it's hard to say if the gender swap one is Fiona's landlord or if she keeps getting money from Abadir. I saw something in the bus. There is an advert for Abadir's vacuum, which indicates to me that Abadir is a big businesswoman.
It's also a joke on
And-
how he sucks up souls.
Yeah, that as well. So Abadir
nice.
is a businesswoman, which really fits because that's how Hunson treated the Nightosphere. So Abadir could be Fiona's landlord, or Fiona could be like bartering favors from her because Abadir likes her. Whereas Marshall Lee doesn't get along with his mother, which I thought was very funny and a little bit messed up.
I have an important plot question. Do people really drink like alcohol with like onions and olive in it?
No, that
No.
was a joke, right? Like, it was a joke that Dirt Beer guy didn't do it right.
I don't know enough about like weird drinks.
I don't either, but I got, I could tell. I perceived it.
I don't know if it's a joke. Like, you mean in the sense that, like, I think in the Adventure Time world, maybe it's normal. I don't really know, but I get that, like, it's a joke on how people, ask for things in their drink and their drink to be a certain way.
I don't know. I don't know that it's normal. I think Dirt Beer guy might just be bad at it because Simon got that drink and he was like,
My dad's a bartender. I'm literally gonna ask him if that's a thing.
It just reminds him of how weird the Land of Uru is
Yeah.
compared to Norwood. But I'm sure that olives are a thing, but I have no idea what they are in terms of alcohol.
So my fixation on Adventure Time is very much like Finn lore, Simon Ice Crown timeline lore, and interdimensional Gulp Prismo nonsense lore.
So this is the best miniseries.
And that's basically entirely what the show's going to be. So like even just the intro starting with that shot of like the Gulp thing exploding, I was like, oh,
yeah, I know. I like the second I saw that, I was like, hold on, let's pause. Let's take this frame by
Dude,
frame. I gotta look at this closely.
I'm so happy Gulb's getting like more screen time because he's so cool, and also like,
She's so cool now.
oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
true. For the 1,000th time, Dom mentioned this, but she was like, Gulb is like terrifying, and also like it's like really, I don't remember what she said, but it was like you're erased from like every timeline, but also people still remember you, and that is
That's-
awful. Like you're not
That's
erased from their
like,
memory.
That's kind of like a false Hydra. I don't know, but I'm not sure that's exactly how gold works.
Well, maybe we'll find
Is
out.
Betty erased from every timeline?
Well, I think she's a special case. I mean, like Margles, like, because like he went to Prisma, or like I think.
No, you're right.
Am I
Magic
confused?
Man went to Prisma.
No,
but-
both Magic Man and Simon went
And
to
I got the
Prismo.
same result.
And like
yeah.
Prisma's like I can't. Speaking of Prismo, are we gonna see Prismo's boss in this miniseries? Are we
Ooh.
finally?
It's
That's what
possible.
Oh my god.
What if Prismo's boss is just Prismo with like a little bow tie on?
We drew Prisma's boss, do you remember?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We were right all along.
Also, did you notice it's like a new Enchiridion that Simon has in his little ritual room?
That's Farmwood and Kyridian.
Yeah, I feel like every time I see the Enchiridion, it's a different cover, and I'm like, am I just remembering
Well,
this
yeah,
wrong?
wait. This one had they had a hand on it.
It had, I don't even remember. We needed an editor
Because
to
we've
put
seen, like, isn't the Farm World Enchiridion was different too, right?
Yeah.
Like there was
It's
a
the
Farm World
Farmwood and Kyridian. He wouldn't have gotten it from anywhere else.
Yeah. So we would need pictures to confirm, but yeah, I guess that is that one.
Like, how's he going to get another...
Did that
How's
happen
he
like
going
in
to get another
crossover?
Enchiridion? Like, there's only two. There's the one that got destroyed by it when it became a portal, and there's the one from Farmworld with a hand on that Finn kidnapped. It's the one from Farmworld because it has a hand on, but the design might be slightly different because they fucked up in drawing it.
No, I just mean like I don't remember. It's been a while since I've scene? Did they take another Enchiridion from Farmworld back home?
Yeah, that's from
crossover or
Farmworld
something?
Enchiridion.
I'm just wondering how he would have it.
I'm pretty sure that it is.
Yeah, it's the same one that Betty was using in Elements. It's the Farmworld Enchiridion. It was abandoned on top of a cloud.
Right.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
I like that the Golb ritual is consistent with like the arm movements, and also like it looks like you need
Tetris shapes.
Yeah, of course you need Tetris. Obviously the Enchiridion, but then like I wonder about like the magic catalyst. Like it's like they used what's her name? Maja? Yeah, they used Maja before, and now it's like evil Choose Goose, and I'm like, I wonder if it's like evil magic person. It's like the other path you're supposed to use. I'm like, I'm just trying to scan these episodes in my brain, because I'm like, there's so much. Surely we forgot some stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Not that we
sure.
have to get every single beat, but there's things that I'm gonna like wake up later and be like, why didn't I talk about that? I don't know. We're kind of thorough, actually.
I think
Yeah.
human hunter wizard's voice was not what I would expect.
He's they're nothing
Which
like...
perhaps I have a personal bias in this, but leads me to think, oh, I wonder if he's trans.
Aw.
Which I like what that would imply about regular hunters.
They're
wizards.
nothing like Huntress Wizard really in personality. They're like a lot. They're like Hunter Wizard is very goofy. I like their personality a lot, and they're very, very gender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like goals. My God. So I was so confused. For a moment, I thought that they were like the gender-bent version of Huntress Wizard's boss. The forest guy salesman. Yeah.
I love that their introduction was getting tripped on, and then Fiona thought she
Yeah.
found a dead body. That's so funny. Also, LSP is the funniest joke
Yes,
ever.
I was going to say that. That if there was any other moment I was going to have to pause for, LSP
LSP.
is like the best fucking joke I've ever heard in my life. Like that,
Yeah.
that was so funny to me.
It's so funny because I think I heard Pendleton Ward voice act a character earlier in the episode, and every time that happens, I'm like, oh, they
Yeah,
got
he was
Pendleton.
Norm from Cheers.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they got Pendleton Ward back, and then I forget that he's literally LSP on all of these things. LSP has just turned into a separate character.
I'm also a big fan of the LSP joke of, like, downtown. I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
That line in particular was delivered so differently from normal lines. It was so good. It's just so... Oh my god. Oh, what was I gonna say? There was another line. Oh no. Hold on, you guys talk while I think about this.
Fiona's character. I want to talk about Fiona's character because in the original show, she kind of has zero personality whatsoever. I will be true. But they gave her a personality, and she's a bit of an asshole.
Yeah.
But I like that. It reminds me a bit of Bee and Puppy Cat, though Bee was kind of a feral...
It is a lot like that.
Yeah, Bee is a lot like that, but part of the reason Bee is like that is because she's a feral android girl. Fiona is just a bit of an asshole. Sorry, have you not seen Bee and Puppy Cat?
No.
Watch Bee and Puppy Cat!
That's absolutely not the direction I thought Bee and Puppy Cat went, but alright.
Watch Bee and Puppy Cat! I can't believe this, because the first episode is like Bee and Puppy Cat.
You're insane, Nick. You deserve that.
It's okay, Nick. I haven't seen it
Oh, it's
either.
okay. I just didn't think it was a show that would have spoilers. Like,
Yeah, but like, Bee is special. She's not normal.
me too.
Everything has spoilers, even like Blue's Clues. Imagine if like someone was like the third clues on like the
Dude,
bathtub. I'd be like,
if
what
you
the
got
fuck's the
spoiled
point?
that Steve leaves the show, come on.
Oh my god.
Fucking Joe.
Jeff Kaplan has left the Overwatch team.
Oh my god, please, don't talk about it.
Oh yeah. Also, yeah. I remember what I was just about to say. You said you like heard Pendleton's voice early in the episode, and we're thinking about that. I heard like human tourist number 3 being voiced by Hendon Walsh and was waiting all
too!
episode for PB to make an appearance.
Me too!
The PBC was so weird. Like, it was so gross.
It was so good! I love that Marceline said it was gross too, because I'm like, are they aware?
Yeah, she's right.
I love that neither of them can get a tattoo.
It's so funny, it just heals over. That is the cutest thing ever.
It's the only reason Marceline and PB aren't covered in tattoos from like their previous relationship is because they just can't get any.
I bet PB could scientifically tattoo them somehow.
Yeah. But it would probably be removed the next time her arm gets cut off by something random.
Yeah.
Do you remember in Islands when Jake like met some humans and they were like, "Oh, weird, a talking dog."
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think like after they realized that talking dogs could exist, they were like, oh, we got to get on that. We're like behind the times.
Yeah, I think that's like exactly the implication of those like translators. You know, it's amazing. You reminded me of what I was thinking of with the Islands thing, and it's not even that important. I just thought it was funny that the humans now live on a floating island, and it's pretty much just they didn't even
I know.
move. They're just still in
That's
the
so
same
funny.
place. Also, the Chan the Human reference when they talk about the river, I thought that was really cool of them.
Another thing that's like totally not going to happen, because how could they fit this in? But if we're spending any time at all in the human city, like I so hope that we could see Minerva Bot a little bit.
Yes! Finn's mother!
I didn't even actually think about that. Yeah, like I guess they could even just show her in the background or something. I mean, who knows? We'll
I
see.
mean, if anything, Martin
Like-
could show up while they're fucking hopping between worlds. Who
Yeah,
knows?
apparently Dom noticed, I saw she posted about it, that in the intro, there's one shot where Fiona's wearing Martin's jacket.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's go! We're so back! We're so back!
See, originally I believed that there's no way that's literally Martin's jacket.
Maybe,
Like, there's
but
no
who
way
knows?
it's literally...
No, we confirmed it. It is.
No, if it looks exactly the same, it's because it's the same style of jacket, right? Because it's a very famous style of jacket.
It just
but-
seems like a weird thing to put on.
I mean, it's
purpose.
probably an intentional Martin reference. That doesn't at all mean that he's going to appear.
Like it was probably just an Easter egg, but like
I like the touch that Fiona is called Fiona Campbell instead of
Yes.
like Fiona Mertens.
Because everyone's gender swapped, and she lives in a normal human world where people would usually take their dad's names.
Yeah.
So her Fiona's mom is like Martha Mertens, and her dad is Marvin Campbell.
the attention to
Marvin
detail in this
Martin.
series so far is like so good, and I can tell that the crew really loves what they're doing. So I'm really excited for the rest of it.
Her dad is just called Mike.
That's my dad.
Whoa!
So I've got a little theory, a little idea based on that synopsis. Do y'all remember the synopsis that was released like fucking ages ago?
Maybe I kind of avoid things like that because spoilers, but like maybe.
I know, but okay. So you don't mind if I talk about it?
I mean, when was this released? Like, is this?
It was like the first. It was like the one infographic we've had for
Okay.
HBO Max.
No,
the one thing we've had for so long, and it also
Okay.
had a vague synopsis. It basically just said like this is going to be about Fiona and Cake and Simon, and they're going to be multiverse hopping.
Right.
And like they're apparently up against some kind of force that wants to erase them from existence. Based on these episodes, I think there's a chance the force that wants to erase Fiona and Cake from existence is Simon.
Yeah, I was gonna
Dun
say
dun
that.
dun.
Yeah. It's gonna be this
You
big
know,
scary monster all shadowed, and then it's just Simon. Oh my god.
Betty opened the portal, didn't she, or something? Or is it Simon himself? It's hard to say, but Simon was trying to summon Golb, and that's how he opened the portal in the back of his head. And I'm not sure if that's because of Simon's consciousness or because of Betty's consciousness.
I mean, we'll absolutely learn next time because with the way that ends with like the implication of Prismo getting like a special notification, like there's some sort of multiversal error that he has to fix, just like in crossover.
I thought that the ritual ended early because like it detached, so then like it
Yeah.
went awry.
It definitely could be Galbetti. Like that's a possibility, but I kind of think it's more implied that like Evil Choose Goose says like you belong in the trash with Fiona and Cake.
Oh my God,
and so
that
it makes
line-
Simon like think about Fiona and Cake while he's doing the
Yeah.
ritual, and then it's not finished, and so it goes wrong.
That line went so hard.
I love the implication that he's been doing this like for a long time.
Yeah,
I know.
very.
This isn't
Can you
something
imagine
we
if he
came up
did
with.
successfully like summon Gulb? It would like be right in the middle of the human city. That would
Yeah.
be disastrous.
I mean,
God.
it's true though, and that just shows how desperate he is. It's like he's not really thinking of the consequences there.
I mean, he probably really doesn't know what he's dealing with either. Like, he just knows the ritual and like whatever old writings he has access to. And
I
then
feel-
other
yeah,
than
I-
that,
I-
he's just like,
I'd like to think he's really well researched on the top. I mean, I guess maybe Gulp doesn't have that much research to be had.
yeah, that's
but,
what I
like,
mean.
The thing is, he's becoming desperate, just like Betty was before. They've swapped positions. Now Simon is the one desperately searching for a way to save Betty.
Yeah. Just like all the fan fictions used to say.
Yeah, except he got sadness instead of madness.
I can't believe we're getting a Finn and Jake, Fionna and Cake crossover, and I'm not even mad about it.
Right?
It's crazy, man. Like,
Because they're doing it in the most out there context ever. Like, we would have never expected this to be the way that they introduced
I kind of get the vibe that like Fiona is not going to meet Finn. I kind of think Finn we might not see Finn again.
Oh my god, that's because Adam Muto implied that they're not going to meet.
I don't know. I'm keeping my expectations in check. I'm like, Finn was an Easter egg, but like also like maybe not. Like they're doing multiverses. Maybe she'll meet like that like posh version of Finn with the rapier.
Yeah,
you remember
there's a different
whatever his name
There's
was.
a different version of. There's two different versions of Finn. One of them is really short. One
Just
of them is
two?
really stupidly short. Like a baby Finn, and the other one is
What are you talking
No,
about?
I need to show you. We had this entire conversation in the
Okay.
in my friend Discord last night. There's the intro. There shows three versions of Finn: Fiona, Big Finn, and Baby Finn. And it's really easy to miss because Baby Finn is just like the top of his ears and a hand.
Could that maybe be the like little girl who's dressed up as Fiona?
Oh, that
though?
could be the little girl who's dressed up as Fiona. That's a good point. I'm going to see if I can find it.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed everything flashing in the intro was just Fiona and Cake themselves, like alternating.
Except they did show the thing of like the treehouse growing really tall, like it is 1,000 years in the future, and like how could that be relevant? You know?
Oh yeah.
That's what I was saying. I know. Who?
I mean, he might meet Shermie and Beth, right?
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen in this.
There's the weird Baby Finn.
That's not the Fiona person. They had
Yeah, that's
bunny
right.
ears.
True.
Oh my god, I can't. They're not going to do baby Finn and
They
Jake
might.
stuff, right? They would. There's no time. Why are they doing this?
Is this the literal mushroom war universe where it was a war about mushrooms?
Oh my god, don't. I'm being teased right now. Oh, okay.
Oh, right. Okay, so if Ice King's going to Farm World, then he'll have met a version of Finn who fell to the crown. Do you think he'll be able to relate to him?
Oh my god, is he?
Oh my god.
Imagine if he's in it. Bad end Finn.
It's again. It's just everything us edgy fans
Yeah,
wanted.
well, he's not still Ice King Finn. He's been cured.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Though it's really funny how he got cured. Like Ice King, Becky summoned Golb and all sorts of nonsense to cure him. Meanwhile, Farm World Finn, Prismo just retconned his crown into an atomic explosion.
Maybe I'm just desperate, but like, does that not look like kind of where like Joshua and Margaret lived, like in that kind of?
It does. You're right.
Fuck!
I was thinking that.
I can't. I can't set myself up for this just to be disappointed. But like, come on! It looks like.
It's not gonna happen. There's gonna be a like 30-second flashback. That's all we're gonna get.
But why put it in the intro then?
I
like
hope that they have
I don't know.
a young Finn. That would be awesome.
No, that would be awesome. I'm just saying. You gotta expect nothing.
I expect nothing. It's fine. I'm not going to do this to myself.
Okay, so obviously Fiona and Cake are gonna come through the portal and they're gonna be in a magical world and go on an adventure. Do you think we're ever gonna see the other characters from the human world?
Yes, we are.
Again, are we gonna see Gary and Marshall Lee?
Don't forget, like, the trailers. So we already know that
Oh, well, hold on.
Okay,
I haven't
well-
seen them.
we're going to see them. All I can say is we're definitely seeing them again. And we're definitely seeing Finn again. But it might not be this thing.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm literally looking at Joshua and Margaret Investigations building right now, and that looks so much like even just their house. Like, that's not their house in the shot, but like the broken windows on like the kind of 20th century building sort of thing.
They probably have
God.
many ideas that they wanted to put into various miniseries, and because this is the one that got approved, they're trying to fit as many of them as possible into here.
Dude, I can't. I mustn't make unrealistic expectations, but that shot right there, it just like
We're so back.
We're so back.
We are so back, though. Okay, I'm kind of getting the vibe that we're winding down.
Yeah.
So I got one last question, I think, before we go. Who do you think the bus driver was? Because she was so like specifically shaped. She has to be someone, but I don't know. I don't have a clue.
I think she is a reference that the artists know, but we don't know.
Oh, that's a good theory, actually.
Yeah, she doesn't really resemble any Adventure Time characters, and her name doesn't resemble any Adventure Time characters either. So, like what was her name again?
Hold on, I'm grabbing that. Give me a second.
She could be the bus driver from Wizard City, though that would be really funny.
Her name's Van Damme.
What?
Van Damme. Yeah, Van Damme. Like Van Damme from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm sure that's the reference.
And she
Isn't
looks like...
Isn't that the name of someone, like, from Wizard City?
It's Donnie. The whole time it was Donnie.
They're Donnie-shaped.
Yeah, we have no idea. I think it might just be a reference to something that the crew knows, but has nothing to do with Adventure Time. Jagam's been, like, collecting all sorts of trivia about it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I love that they're such an encyclopedia. I really respect them a lot.
Yeah, they have... everybody look at Jagam's Adventure Time timeline thing. It's like the craziest, most amazing fan-made research thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I'm just... Her head is so, like, round, but also rectangular. Do you think she could be, like, Ron James?
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of.
No.
She doesn't look that much like him, though.
I think Tipsy is probably right. It's just a crew member, but who knows?
No, it's probably... I mean, if it's that, it's probably someone we haven't met yet who we will meet in another universe or something.
It's the evil force.
Maybe it's someone...
the bad guy. It's Prismo's boss.
Maybe we'll see the Ooh version of them.
It could happen.
What if it is Prismo's boss?
What
Because
if
they're a
it
bus
is
driver, which means
Prismo's
they
boss?
Prismo's boss is this bus driver? That would be hysterical.
Well, it's like, bus driver, they bring people where they need to go, aka multiverses, you know? That's not a stretch at all. We're cooking. I'm so excited for more.
Yeah, alright. I think that's a wrap on this. I'll put everyone's relevant links in the description.
Wiggy, fresh, I don't know.
Watch Adventure Time! Okay, I'm stopping.
Yeah, watch this. You gotta watch the real show before you watch this too, though.
Yeah, I saw someone on Tumblr today who was like, yeah, it's insane how I'm crazy over Fionna and Cake, even though I know nothing about Adventure Time. And I was like, holy crap! Someone who's watching Fionna and Cake who knows nothing about Adventure Time, that's really dangerous.
I mean, but too, that's kind of a thing that, like, you know, I'm not gonna like headcanon this person, I guess, but like, younger people, like people that are like 18, 17-ish, like, they're not gonna watch all of Adventure Time. They're gonna like see the hype for this and be like, oh, and they'll just watch it and they'll read a synopsis. Like, people don't really watch stuff that's long anymore, I feel like.
Yeah, and I feel like Adventure Time is too much of an ask now.
I'm happy to hear that they enjoy it anyway.
But yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. They could still enjoy... Like, you know, I'm so into video games. Half the people on TikTok that, like, whenever I make video game content, they're just like, oh yeah, I watched somebody play this. You know, like, people just go through stuff. It's different now. People didn't have to watch Adventure Time for, like, 8 years on TV with hiatuses and all that. Like, they don't know. They don't know the Betty credits, accidental Betty leak.
They don't know about the Betty Poplits or Pahoy or anything like that. Short step.
I remember that like there was an early leak or something of a bunch of episode titles before, but we didn't know anything about the episodes, and so everyone was like, "Pahoy, that's funny," and they were making Pahoy memes before the episode ever aired.
That was Frederator. They released all the season 5.1 episode titles. They had a tradition of releasing all the episode titles at the start of the season, and they did that for season 5.1, but not for season 5.2. So season 5.2 was the first time we were completely in the dark about how many episodes there were and what they were called.
Dude, remember Preboot and Reboot wasn't advertised at all officially?
None of them were. Like almost none of the non-miniseries episodes were advertised. The finale got like bare bones advertisement.
I was so upset, man.
We could have a whole separate podcast of nostalgic talk.
Okay, we're done. I'm gonna end my recording. Thank you for listening.
Okay, I'm ending now.